Hello, my wonderful, beautiful friends, guys. Welcome back to r/MaliciousCompliance, where people follow exact orders to spite someone. And in today's episode, entitled Karens are at it again, causing trouble and harassing people. And one OP tells a story about the time they pulled a crazy Uno reverse on a Karen who tried to embarrass them in public, and apparently it ruins the woman's life. I hope you enjoy the stories. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, and as always, you can send or link your post to this email right here. Let's dive in. So this happened yesterday at a large regional grocery chain near my house. It's the type of place with tons of gourmet and specialty departments, including ready-to-eat food and a little cafe area. The cafe includes a small gated-off outdoor space on the side of the building, which gets pretty busy as people love to sit and enjoy the nice weather we've been having. There's also a hot foods bar that changes every day of the week. Yesterday, the theme was chicken wings. So I'm picking up groceries for the week, minding my own business, when I'm hit with the most divine smell I've ever known. Mind you, it's a bit past noon and I haven't eaten all day. The next thing I know, I'm following the smell like a cartoon thief chasing a pie in a window. I find myself at the hot bar, and possessed by a force greater than myself, I load up a container of wings. I then check out, now fully entranced with the aroma of buffalo sauce and knowing full well that these wings aren't going to make it home. So I step outside and I walk to the end of the building and I sit down on a concrete ledge under the awning. And I go to town on my chicken wings. Like absolutely unhinged raccoon out of a dumpster, chowing the F down, not caring about anything else. Was it my proudest moment? No. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I'm enjoying my meal when suddenly my chickeny meditation is interrupted by that annoying throat clearing ahem. I look up and see a woman, probably mid-40s, sternly tapping her foot and pointing behind me. The woman did not look like an employee, just to be clear. Confused, I look over my shoulder and I see the no loitering sign. I'm still not getting it. I obviously have a full cart of groceries I just stepped out with. So I explain to her that I'm just enjoying my hot lunch before I head home. But the woman is having none of it. She screams at me to either eat in the designated cafe area or get out. I point out that all the cafe tables are full, and I've just got a couple of more wings. She then delivers the kicker. She says, "You need to figure it out before I call the cops to figure it out for you." So I think to myself, fine. I stand up, gather my wings, leaving the rest of my groceries. I then walk the 10 feet to the gated area, duck between the metal railings, look pointedly around at the occupied tables, and then sit down on the concrete and continue eating my wings while looking the lady in the eye. She then pulls out a cell phone, probably to call the cops, but either it was for show or they thought she was as nuts as I did. I finished my chicken wings in peace, albeit among a sea of confused patrons. Guys, why am I not surprised? Random Karens that have nothing better to do than police the supermarket grounds. Like, clearly OP was a customer and wasn't a threat to anyone, so why not let them be, right? If that were me, I think I would have told her to call the cops. Let her embarrass herself, right? 911, yes, I'd like to report a man eating chicken wings outside a grocery store. Yeah, the sign says no loitering, but he's here. Honestly, I don't even think they'd respond to a call like that. They'd probably tell her to stop wasting their time. Okay, so this adventure involves a 16-inch dough, a crap load of pizza sauce, a way younger me, and an angry Midwestern lady. Over a decade ago, I was working a closing shift alone at a pizza shop, minus the drivers on delivery. Now, I wouldn't say that I really developed the same sense of urgency I have as an adult now to maintain employment. Granted, I didn't get fired for this. So on this night, a lady comes in and she orders a regular 14-inch cheese pizza with extra sauce to go. At the little family shop I worked for, the menu item extra sauce meant that we used a larger ladle to scoop and apply the sauce. But I would come to find that this proportion was not sufficient for the lady. And here's a disclaimer. Given that I'm undeniably a piece of crap at that stage of my life, human error is a possibility, but I put extra sauce on the first pizza. I damn sure did on the second one too. So after making her first pizza, I hand it over, and the woman opens the box to inspect it at the counter, and I can see she's not happy with it. Fluently in rude Karen, the woman says to me, "Honey, I know you work at a pizza place, so this is probably hard for you to understand. But I ordered extra sauce on this pizza." The woman doesn't leave me much room to speak. She starts berating me, telling me that the owner would be appalled if he found out how useless his employees were, and tells me that I need to remake her pizza with extra sauce this time, and have it delivered to her house as she refuses to wait in store. Now at this point, I'm 100% pissed off, but I decide to take her address and arrange a comped pizza. As soon as she left, I got to work on my masterpiece. Now, the lady ordered a 14-inch pizza, but I instead opted for a 16-inch dough over a 14-inch screen, allocating the excess dough to the crust for reinforcement. Next, I open a new can of pizza sauce. I used a single number 10 size can, which was about 6 pounds of pizza sauce on her pie. Undoubtedly, it was a threatening and alarming amount of pizza sauce involved, and I pour it directly onto the dough mountain I just made. It's an effing pond at this point. And for emphasis, as I lift this pizza puddle off the sauce station, the pizza's noticeably heavy, and I have to walk slowly to avoid swishing the sauce everywhere. I then put the cheese on top, and I have to run it through the oven 3 times to get it to cook. The pizza finally cooks up, and I pack it up. But I can't cut it because obviously the sauce will run everywhere. I then hand the soup pizza to the driver, and the guy doesn't think it's funny, as he has to hold it in his lap the whole time to keep it from spilling over. 50 minutes or so after delivery, I get a call. It's the angry Midwestern Karen, and she's really mad this time. I've never been screamed at so hard before. I gather from our conversation that she somehow managed to cut the pizza, and she made quite the mess for herself in the process. All you have to know is that pizza sauce was all over the kitchen counters in her house. I didn't say anything funny or witty back. I just gave her the number to use for complaints, but internally, I thought it was hilarious. The woman, of course, sent a scathing review of my masterpiece, which printed at the station right next to me and was promptly shredded that evening. Now that was a satisfying malicious compliance, guys. Like, just imagining the pond of sauce swishing around while being carried is freaking hilarious, like OP said. And I'm just surprised the lady actually tried to cut into it. So yeah, guys, the moral of the story is never go out of your way to insult the people who prepare your food, because you just never know what someone will do. And this person shares a similar story, and they say, "About 30 years ago, I worked in a pizza place. One night, a woman calls in an order for a cheese pizza with extra sauce. The pizza was made and delivered. Well, 5 minutes later, we get a call. The pizza's unacceptable. The woman said extra sauce, so a replacement's made with twice the normal amount of sauce. Another 5 minutes after, she's on the phone, and the woman's yelling so loudly that you could probably hear her from space. How she ordered it with extra sauce, and we gave it to her with regular sauce, and we're trying to scam her. So at this point, we pass her off to the manager, who tells her that he knows we gave her double sauce on the last one because he watched us. The shrieking only got louder, and now she's screaming that we'd better send her a pizza with goddamn extra sauce, or she'll have all of our jobs. That's when the manager says, "I'll have a replacement there in 15 minutes. He then tells us to step away from the counters, as he makes her a pizza with so much sauce that it's basically just soup and bread. Like, the thing is so soggy that it has to be poured into the box. He then hands it to the delivery guy and tells him to hand it to her and walk quickly away. The manager then told us to let him answer the phone for the next 15 minutes. Well, the woman calls back and we hear incoherent shrieking. And then the manager says, "Was that enough sauce for you? Never call us again. We're blacklisting your address from our system." He of course got an earful from the franchise owner, but he said it was worth every minute. I'm a long-time lurker, so I thought I'd share my favorite story from my time in food service, years and years ago, when pennies were still being used on a regular. I was a shy, quiet 15-year-old when I first started working at a certain fast food restaurant in my small town. And then I encountered the general public. Now, many of the morning rush customers were super kind regulars who I got to know and liked. But then there was Penny Guy. Penny Guy was not a regular. The guy placed his order with no initial sign of anything out of the ordinary. His change came to 29 cents. He says to me, "No pennies." Hearing that, I confirm with him and I ask him, "You don't want your pennies, sir?" And this wasn't unusual. We had a charity donation box right by the cash register, where customers often left their unwanted change or had us deposit it. Hearing me ask that, the guy was glowering at me now. He says, "Don't give me any damn pennies." I respond, "Of course, sir." I then hand him his quarter and then drop the pennies in the charity box, and the guy exploded. He starts screaming and says, "What the F is this? This is an effing quarter. I want 30 cents. How effing hard is it to round the hell up?" Hearing his outburst, I was caught off guard, and I say, "I'm sorry, sir, but I can't give back extra change. We donate what customers don't want, and it all goes to charity. I apologize for the confusion." My drawer had to be correct at the end of the day, so this was absolutely true. Well, that was not all right. The guy then goes on a very loud tirade about how cheap the restaurant was and how ridiculous it was to round down. He then called me a cheap-ass bitch. He then demands his pennies back, saying, "You won't rip me off like this. Give me my 29 effing cents or you're fired." Now, at this point, I could have given him a nickel from the drawer and replaced it later from my own pocket. If the guy had been speaking to me like I was a person and not a corporate punching bag, I would have gladly done so. But that's not what he was asking me to do. I put on my sweetest smile and I say, "Only the store manager has the keys to the donation box. Give me a minute and I'll go get her." At this point, one of the regulars behind Penny Guy speaks up, and he says, "Don't make her do that. Here's your pennies." He then offers Penny Guy some pennies from his own pocket. Penny Guy's face flushes and he mumbles about it being the principle of the thing. My coworker was managing the line, so I decided that this man was going to get his pennies. It took a minute to explain what was happening to the manager, and she laughed, and she said she'd be out there in a second. It took her a suspiciously long minute to retrieve the key to get to the front. Meanwhile, Penny Guy mumbled and glowered, and for some reason, he stuck around for those 4 pennies. It was a principal thing, apparently, and it meant that he waited a good 10 minutes while his to-go bag just cooled on the counter. And here's where I got back at him though. Every now and then, when a new customer came to the till, I would look over at Penny Guy, and I would assure him, "Don't worry, sir. The manager's gonna be here shortly to return your 4 pennies from the donation box." This earned him a few looks while he waited, and the guy got red. When my manager finally came to the front, we opened the donation box while the busy store just watched. We then counted out 4 pennies and we handed them back to the now very red-faced and much quieter man. I then say out loud, "I'm so sorry for the confusion, sir. Here's the rest of your change." The guy took the pennies and left, still mumbling about what a ripoff the whole thing was. On the bright side, a larger than normal percentage of customers decide to donate their change to the charity after watching his tirade. I took some pleasure in the thought that even at minimum wage, my time was worth more than 24 cents an hour. I absolutely love the fact that the man probably regretted what he asked for, guys. And honestly, can't say he didn't deserve the embarrassment. Like, that was the hill he chose to die on. And I don't know about you, but OP reassuring him loudly in front of customers that his 4 pennies would be retrieved from the donation box very soon had me howling, guys. Like, my goodness, I would crawl into a hole and never come out if I was made to look like I was taking back a 4-penny donation. And while we're on the topic of pennies, listen to this next post, guys. So back in high school, I worked for a fast food place. And not to name any names, but I worked at a place that had a yellow smiley star as the logo. At the time I was there, we had a deal on the apple pie turnover things. We always just called them pies. The regular price for one was 99 cents, and the deal was 2 for $1. That said, someone way above my pay grade in the company made a rule that we were to automatically do the deal whenever someone ordered pies and then gushed to the customers that they essentially got one pie free. That said, cue the Karen. I just finished the lunch rush and I was taking care of the last few stragglers when she came up. All she ordered was a pie. And per the rule, I rang up the deal. And as soon as the little price screen flashed, 2 apple, $1, the woman lost her mind. Karen says to me, "Excuse me, I said a pie. That means 1. I tell her, "Well, ma'am, we have a deal where you get 2 for $1, and since..." She then interrupts me and says, No. I said 1. You are trying to steal from me." That's when I tell Karen, "Not at all, ma'am. The pies are regular price 99 cents, and the deal is $1, so you get a pie for free." Karen says, "Hell no. You just said they're 99 cents. You're trying to steal from me. Some people don't have a penny more to spend, and you are trying to rip them off." Of course, I try to explain, and I say, "But ma'am, after tax, it..." She then stops me and says, "You are a liar and a thief. Where's your manager?" I begrudgingly get the manager, and Karen starts screaming how I'm trying to force her to pay more for things she never asked for, and how I was likely going to try to pocket the difference and steal from the company. That's when the manager says to her, "Well, it says here that you're getting 2 pies, and after tax, that's $1.05. Karen doesn't get it, and she says, "Well, I only want 1 pie, and she's trying to overcharge me. I want this fixed right now." The manager then rolls his eyes, and he says, "Please ring this customer up for 1 pie only." So I do so, and the price after tax comes out to $1.05. Karen insists that we're still wrong, and the manager ends up telling her to buy the pie or leave the store. Karen tries to demand the 2 pie deal, and that's when the manager sticks to, "Well, you demanded me up here insisting you only want 1, so either pay for 1 or leave." The woman left the store with 1 pie. So our fast food restaurant closes at midnight on Sundays, and around 11:15 p.m. we start transitioning to close, and to get ready for the delivery we get every Sunday. There was a process here where we play a game of how many fries do you think we're going to sell in the last 45 minutes. So we take a guess and put the bags of them up front because we know the delivery takes at least an hour of our shift like clockwork, and we can't access the big boxes of French fries due to a line of boxes and dollies and counting items. That said, I'm usually pretty good at guessing, and we had a car pull up who needs fries times 2 large. So I drop 4 large, about half a bag, the last half we had up front, just in case another car pulls up. And it did. The second car pulls up and says, "Hi, I'd like a hamburger, large, with fries, and I need those fries fresh." Now, I was dumb enough to mention, "Well, today's your lucky day because I just dropped some fries right now." His increasingly pleasant response is, "I don't care about those fries. I said fresh fries. So you'd better make me some new fries fresh. Don't give me those fries. Make me some new ones." So enter malicious compliance. Enter another entry into the A-hole chronicles. Now, I could have just as easily given him the fries I just dropped, because they take around 3 minutes to cook, so he was pulling up just as they were finished. But the guy clearly said he didn't want those fries, so what's a cook to do? Do I lie and say these aren't the fries they thought they were? So I tell him it's going to be a while on the new fries. So the guy waits and waits as I clean the Frosty machine, which is a 6-minute job right in front of the window. He then honks his horn, and I apologize sincerely, and I explain that the fries are inaccessible until the delivery driver can get everything moved. Shouldn't be that much longer, and then we can drop them. Maybe 10 minutes. He waits longer as I stalk the nugget sauces, being mindful that I'm still being watched like a hawk. So I pretend to look off in the middle distance of our restaurant like there's something going on there. The guy waits and waits some more. Finally, a coworker runs up with a box and we toss them into the fry bin. All of a sudden, the guy honks more emphatically now, and I come to the window to hear him yelling, "What? They're frozen? I wanted fresh fries." He then screeches off into the night, no food in sight. But it gets better though. At this time of the evening, we usually get the same officer coming through. The guy's a regular. The officer sees everything that happened and stops Captain French Fries and gives the guy a ticket for aggressive driving. He then comes into line to get his freshly made French fries. So yeah, angry customer demands I make a new batch of fries, and the guy waits so long that he screeches off and he gets a major ticket in the process. Also no French fries, so the guy really lost that night. But seriously, did the guy really think there was gonna be a team of people peeling and cutting potatoes just for him? And here's something, guys, a lot of people are saying that OP's the petty a-hole in this one for doing that to the guy. But seriously, if you've never worked fast food and you haven't dealt with people like this, you would not understand. Like, some people are nasty and they deserve it. Like, I'm not saying this guy did, but if you know, you know. So for some context, I am not Muslim, but my father is half Indian from a Muslim family, so I'm pretty much up to speed on these things. Also, I'm light-skinned, so people often get confused about my ethnicity, thinking I'm full European. That said, I'm a salesperson, and I control the media of a boutique that's a part of a restaurant. And it's a small place, so sometimes I just wander around when the boutique is empty, and I get mistaken as a server. We do get super busy sometimes, so I help out the servers. One day, this lady who I'll call Crazy Lady walks in with her friend. And before she sits down, she starts snapping her fingers at the servers and yelling for someone to serve her. It was a hectic day because it was one of our religious holidays. So I get 2 menus and I greet them waiting for their drink orders. The crazy lady just spits her and her friend's drink order at me and then proceeded to ask about some of the dishes. This was our brunch time, so we were still doing full-on breakfast meals with bacon and such. She then asked which dishes have pork, and I point them out, but I also offer to remove any of the bacon from the dishes. That's when she looks at me like I'm the stupidest thing on earth, and she says, "I asked about pork, not bacon." Now it was my turn to look at her like, what the F? I then look at her friend, who just had this look of defeat on her face. I then explained to her that bacon is from a pig, and that it's essentially a form of pork. She then starts getting upset at me, and she yelled, "You are a white girl. I know more about my religion than you. Now get me my bacon." At this point, I pretty much give up. It's getting busy, and I'm turning heads to our table. I can't afford to lose the job, so I comply, especially with Crazy Lady's request for extra bacon. I tell the cooks and servers who are watching the whole ordeal, and we're all trying hard to stifle our laughter and groans behind the counter. We didn't think she was being serious. I serve her and her friend's food. The woman orders our Oriental breakfast, which has everything, topped with heaps of bacon scattered across the plate. At this point, I want to note she looked very happy, and her friend had the same, but without any bacon, and she was looking apologetically at me the whole time. I was ready to leave it be and go serve another table, when she starts telling me off, saying I didn't listen to her on how to do her bacon. And I also want to note, she didn't even tell me at all how to do it. She just goes on, and she says I should really take feedback from customers like her and post it on our Facebook page so people know how we are. I was pretty pissed off at this point, and I didn't want to yell because I knew I'd get fired, so I did the next best thing. And honestly, I think I only thought about this after reading so many stories on here. I agreed with her, saying yes, we should take her thoughts into consideration on the Facebook page. So since I'm the media person for both the boutique and the restaurant, I asked if I could take a photo of her eating lunch and post her feedback as an official post on our page. She looked over the moon at the thought of publicity, and she readily agreed to it. The friend just excused herself and she moved away from the photo. I don't know if she knew what I was thinking or what. Anyways, I take the woman's photo and then add her comments, and I also get her Facebook tag so she's tagged in the photo. However, when I was getting ready to post it, I add the caption, On Prophet Muhammad's birthday, this lovely customer came in and she ordered our Oriental breakfast with extra bacon. We pride ourselves on giving the customers exactly what they tell us they want. Needless to say, the comments of shock and horror on the post by her family and friends at the pork were endless. She sent me a message to take it down for personal reasons, as it's essentially ruining her life. So be nice to your servers and know what you're allowed to eat before you preach in our faces about us being uneducated about things. Again, can't say she didn't deserve that, right? But seriously, what OP did was absolutely savage, guys. And I can only imagine the amount of backlash she got. Like, her life might have been ruined. I don't know. Like, my question is, has she always done this? Like, maybe she's picky, choosy on what she can and can't do. Like, I once knew a girl that was vegan, or she claimed to be vegan, but she ate eggs like every single day. Some people are just like that, right? And also, I'm just wondering if her family has always given her turkey bacon, and she literally thought all bacon was safe to eat. Like, there's so many questions. That said, again, absolutely savage what OP did to destroy this nasty Karen. Guys, do you agree or disagree with what OP did? And that, my friends, brings us to another end of r/malicious compliance. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's stories. If you did, hit that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing so you don't miss these crazy stories. And if you missed the last episode on the channel, it's an r/entitled people episode, which I think you'll enjoy. Psycho Karens are harassing everyone for their parking spots. It's such a wild episode, so go check it out if you haven't, and myself and Stevie Boy will see you guys in the next one. We love you.